Welcome back to our special on healthy, happy families. Before the break, we talked about the importance of family, foundation, and structure, and how that can be important to children and families in general. And we're also going to talk about some of those influences, the outside influences that can make a bit of a difference to the family unit. We talked with people on the street about what some of those influences could be.
Well, financial issues are definitely negative influences, like whether or not a family's struggling.
Technology probably is the biggest thing right now.
As in the internet?
Yeah, well, not even media, and just everybody's bombarded with all of that.
The biggest one, I think, is we're in a society where it takes two adults working to make a living, and so you don't have the mothers at home anymore, so the kids sort of get, I don't know, sometimes I think they get less as the parents' time than they really need.
So lots of different opinions of what an outside influence could be. A couple or a few really rang true, financial being one of them. Linda, do you want to talk about that as far as what those financial burdens can be sometimes that can affect a family?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, with a lot of single parent families, there's a lot of stress on parents to really come forward with some finances to make sure that the kids are provided with healthy activities, and actually even with two working parents. There's a lot of pressure to be able to provide those activities. Kids go to school and they see the other objects and toys that children have, and they want what the other kid has. So I think there's a lot of pressure on parents these days to provide, and when that can't happen, that causes a lot of stress on families.
It's almost a vicious cycle, because really that shouldn't be the main factor, but it seems that we all kind of get roped into feeling that way.
I think you're right. It shouldn't be the main factor, but I think a lot of us get caught up in that.
Now, Cindy, Linda brought up the point about parents working, double income, parents feeling that they both need to work, or maybe we're even talking about a single family, and of course that economic burden that's happening. But you had a great point that you were talking about as far as it not being all about the money.
Well, that's right. The main thing our children need from us is our time and attention. If a family can't afford the latest toy, then they maybe need to sit down and have a conversation with their child about why they can't have something. But the main thing children need from adults is time and attention. And if you're doing fun things, they won't care so much about the toys.
What about that peer pressure from that child, though? I mean, like Linda says, they're going to school and they're seeing kids with the newest sneakers or the iPod or the new jacket, that type of thing. So they're bringing that pressure back to a parent. So how do you, if you've already gotten into that trend, how do you even get yourself back out of that?
Well, one good strategy is to help the child identify the ways that they could earn that toy, whether it's by delivering papers or some other task they take on around the house that they maybe get a little extra money for. It's a good way to teach responsibility.
It is an interesting fact, because I think we can kind of think about when we were young that we might have got a Christmas present, a birthday present, maybe a passing present, and it seems now it's every time that there's just more and more stuff coming into the home.
Yes, that's right, and that's that reflects our current values. So if your values are not that in that line, it can be hard to fight against that push that our society is giving us.
We talked, or we did see, about technology, and I actually thought that was going to be one of the main ones that people might have said was this influence of seeing technology, the internet, cell phones, all that type of stuff. Richard, you've been teaching for 33 years. Obviously, you've seen technology advance all the way through there. What would you say you've seen over your time teaching?
Technology has just taken off. It was so simple years ago, and it's just, the advancements are incredible. Good and bad, I think, with the technology. It's a matter of focus. Educationally, the social is good. It's nice to have the technology socially, but it's just getting that happy balance.
What would you say some of those, maybe the more negative that you've witnessed over the time?
Social networking and students in classes spending too much time doing that and not enough time on the education.
What about the good points?
It gives the ability to learn in different ways and learn different things.
Cindy, I need to ask you what you're going to weigh in on this. Technology, it seems every time you turn around, you're hearing so much in the news and in media about technology and social media and aspects that are affecting our kids. What do you have to say about that?
Well, the media has changed so much since we were young, and I think one challenge parents face now is keeping up with it so they understand what the risks and benefits are for the child. And a good example of that is in things like Facebook with this privacy settings. A lot of parents don't understand that, so they can't teach their parents how to use those privacy settings properly, or they can't teach their children. So,
as a parent, Linda, what are you doing to kind of instill that type of knowledge to your child?
I guess, as Cindy says, it's really important to become aware of what your kids are doing on the computer and not being afraid to make sure you set some boundaries. If the screen goes blank as you walk by the computer room, chances are they're doing something they're not supposed to be. So I guess reserving the right as a parent to make sure you know what sites they're accessing and to make sure that appropriate privacy settings are being implemented.
What have you seen as far as your role at CPAC? Is this something that is becoming a bit of an issue with kids?
Well, from a crime prevention perspective, I think the internet has just opened the door to a myriad of fraud and social media scams. It's really pretty scary. So really educating our youth and protecting them, because the internet has allowed people to become anonymous, and that's a little scary these days.
Thank you very much. Great comments from all of you. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can spend time as a family and it doesn't have to cost a lot.